Good evening, welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. This day we'll be starting the broadcast of the elimination stage, and that will start with a round of 16. So these 16 players made it all the way through the round robin, a 72 bot and really stacked group. We have got, and we'll start from the bottom down. We will start with Crazio Protos versus Steamhammer. Of course, Crazio Terran dropped out or was replaced by Crazio Protos and made it all the way through to 6th place. That's really impressive. Steamhammer, of course, is there as well. Andrew Smith's Skynet is still there. Wow, impressive. Versus Ironbot. And then we'll have TSU Protos versus Killbot. Killbot, nice 2nd place last year and placed 7th in the round of 72 round robin. Then Ludas number 2 versus Eric Hammer. Halan versus Banana Brain. Proxy versus Purple Wave. Bera and Microwave will have to duke it out, and then we'll have the number 1 versus number 16. It's Seda of the Samsung AI team versus Thomas Vadas Xim, so that will be very, very interesting. And these bots will all play a best of 5 for, well, getting ahead. And of course we've got the losers round, so that will be another hard lot for me to cast because the games will probably be great. But then again we'll have losers round 1, losers round 2 and all the way up to the finals. And of course there should be another game to cast after that, but for this year we decided against that. So the number 1 will have only one shot at a sort of Royal Road kind of thing. But that said, let's get on with the game. We've got Steamhammer starting out with a very defensive Sunken and a spawning pool, and then I believe it's going to be the scouting drone, and the scouting drone will scout the pylon of Crazio, and let's see if there is going to be anything done with that. The Overlord is there, the first 3 pair of Zerglings are going to be put forward, and Crazio has got all the money saved for cannons. Ooh, and here come the Lings, and I think the Lings will shut this down pretty easily. And now Crazio will be in for a world of hurt because the scouting drone has, and the Overlord now has found this base over here. So it should now be known where Crazio is at, and Crazio hasn't got a hope in the world. It's not even building cannons at the main. So I think that, these Zerglings are going after the scouting probe. Oh, damn. And that will take a lot of time. And Crazio now is sending out a lot of drones for, I don't know why. But the Zerglings will tear into that pretty quickly. And now Crazio is trying to restart with a gateway, but that is not going to work. The first Lings are there already, and Crazio should have put down a lot of cannons. Didn't do so. Now all the mining time is lost. And Steamhammer is just going to power through with a couple of hatches. And you can see where this is going. Is there even there are some cannons building, but it's over here. And now all the Lings are going after the probes. That's not good. There should be a Zealot though, because the mining time is severely impaired, and now Crazio has got the lockdown on the main once again, and there is only a handful of Zerglings out. And I dare say that Steamhammer could have played this a lot better. But then again, Steamhammer, the natural hatchery is under attack and now cancelled. At least the money won't be lost, but should build a lot of Sunkens just to prevent the encroachment of the cannons. But I think that, oh dear, the Lings are in there once more and now are killing all the probes. Crazio just didn't want to build any Zealot, and that is going to cost him the game, I suppose, because this is all very nice and well, but the Zergling numbers are going to grow. And Crazio just gave up its main, so that's the GG first game going to Steamhammer. And the next game up is going to be the same matchup on Destination, and that's a little bit larger map. And I think that Crazio is just going to stick to the build order. And let's see if Steamhammer has learned anything. So Steamhammer going for a lot of drones once more. And after that an Overlord, then more drones. So looks like it's going to be a little bit more eco-heavy. That was going for a natural hatchery. Crazio sending out 2 probes, which are picked up by the scouting Overlord. And meanwhile, lots of minerals mined behind that. So again, the cannon, rubbish, the pylon is there. And Crazio just going to build 2 cannons in straight point blank range of the hatchery. That's pretty BM, and it doesn't look like Steamhammer has learned much. Now all these eggs which are going to be hatched, yeah, oh, the links come in, but they don't even touch the base hit points of the cannon. And the probe is going out for some aggression, trying to get in the base, but it's really, well, we saw earlier that Crazio doesn't really defend its main. That's going to be an issue. But with this number of cannons in the natural, it's very hard for Zerg to break out. Crazio now having more mineral income. Oh, and the probe gets lost, but immediately 2 more get sent out to the front. And the thing would be just to build a couple of sunkens just to prevent any further encroachment. But it's not really like this. These AIs have got no Crazio mining out the back minerals. That's pretty devious. It's not like these bots have got any concept of what a cannon rush actually is and how you in general stop it, so that's unfortunate. And Steamhammer just is sacrificing way too many drones. It hasn't got a concept of this ground here is not safe. Crazio has just opened up the natural, or the third, and that might be a way to sneak out a drone. Let's see if Steamhammer is clever enough to do that. Has got a fair number of hatcheries, so can make quite a bit of an army. Then again, that cannon field is really impressive, and Crazio is just building stuff left, right and center, and is sending out some forces to contest the status quo even more. 2 goons, which can always fall back on the cannons, and now these zealots are really rather brave. That must be said. Crazio going for a third, and here comes a Dark Templar, but there are overlords, and I really can't see this going very well. Steamhammer took the first game, and Crazio is trying to get something done with Dark Templars, but there are just way too many overlords. And oh yes, third base up, but with some goons in there, so that's not going to work all that well. And Steamhammer is not protecting it with any of its forces over here. So that's quite nasty. There are some Scourge contesting the carriers. And this carrier is nearly dead. And there it goes. So Steamhammer doing all it can to help him defend itself. This base is sort of up and running because the goons decided to leave it alone. But now Crazio's got this 5, 6, 7, 8... Wow, that's just a lot of income for Crazio, and the 13 drones of Steamhammer will have to do all they can, but in the end I don't think it's really going to matter all that much. The Scourge suicide themselves on the cannons, and I think that Crazio, let's look at the production tab, is going to be rolling. And steamrolling, Steamhammer, here comes some more Scourge, killed by the cannons, and this is so mean actually, because the cannon rush is rather a human tactic, and it's very hard for an AI to decide what it actually is and how to counter it, and that's what we see what's happening with that here. Crazio perfectly balancing all the probes, still mining a little bit from its main and from its natural and from the third. And now the carriers are all over this, and with 3 carriers you can do quite a lot versus a small handful of Hydras. That said, the goons still taking pot shots at things. This base is sort of operational, that's good for Steamhammer, but Crazio is just taking the last 2 available bases, and oh, that is going to be ugly. The Scourge will land, but you can see the handful of defenders which is trying to keep Steamhammer in this game is growing smaller and smaller, and now with 3 carriers and many goons, it's 5 carriers already. It's going to be a little bit messy, and this will probably be over very soon for Steamhammer, as more and more forces are being ferried in, and Crazio can't just keep his money down. It's basically maxed and is banking a lot of minerals, and gas is going for the equalizer. It will be soon 1-1 if neither bot crashes, but if 2 of these very accomplished bots. Oh, that is a lucky carrier right there. But this is the game, and the third is under attack as well. So you can see Steamhammer turning light blue and is leaving the game. So next game up is Benzene, and let's see how Crazio's cannon rush strat will prevail in this map. or what Steamhammer is going to do to counter it. Going for a quick pull, I think that's good, with a quick sunken for defense. So that seems to be the defensive setup, and Crazio is going for... Now it gets cancelled. So this build of Steamhammers will have absolute control of Crazio's trying to build this build. So you can see now that there are many links to be built, and the link count is growing. We've got, oh, they are delivered. One's gotten stuck and is keeping one further link occupied, and that's the 3-pylon cannon rush thing. But there are a lot of Zerglings in the main of Crazio, and if I'm not very much mistaken, they will round up all the workers easily, and then Crazio will be without income, and although there are some cannons over here, there won't be any more. So that is the game. Crazio taps out. It's 2-1 for Steamhammer. So Crazio had rather win this game, and it's a large map, so perhaps the Zerglings will require some extra time to reach it. The question is, will Steamhammer, yes, start out with the same build which won it the 2 previous games, and the greedy build, and right before the cannons finish, the Zerglings are out, and now it's going to be a death train of Zerglings for the main of Crazio, finding some workers out in the open space which just run. And have they got speed? They haven't even got speed yet, but still I think that these workers will do away with the probes quite easily. Work defense of Crazio is not all that great, and Steamhammer prevails 3-1, moves on to the round of 8, and Crazio being demoted to the losers bracket. So next game up, it will be Ironbot versus Andrew Smith's Skynet, and Skynet is ancient. It was very dominant Protoss about 5-6 years ago, and then Andrew didn't have time to work on his bot anymore. And it got rather neglected and without an update, but it's still here in 2018, or finals of 2018 tournament. And it is in the round of 16, and that's very impressive. So let's see how it's going to play. We got a quick expansion that was quite extraordinary for a bot at this time. We've got worker defense, at least they fight back, and the first zealot. And Iron is going to do things with a lot of SCVs trying to put up a contain, but Skynet has got the goons out already. And this is uncharacteristic, but Skynet has got the map control for now with a handful of goons. There are some vultures out, and they will kill the zealot. But these goons, of course, will kill the vultures hands down. So it's waiting before the first tanks arrive. And let's see how well these goons do with spider mines, and the answer is not all that great. So Iron back in control somewhat. With 3 vultures out on the prowl. They've got mines, and speed will be done momentarily as well. And Sky hasn't really got, hasn't got any kind of detection, so it's going to suffer a little bit. No cannons here, but Sky has got 2 bays versus 1 situation, so that's good, and is going to produce a lot of gateway units to try and compete for map dominance with Ironbot. Ironbot is going to build a lot of vultures, which will have a lot of mines, and trying to muscle its way in there, but Sky, for the time being, is defending quite nicely. And, oh dear, dear, dear. Sky is just not used to large vulture attacks, and they can even pick a straight fight with these goons now. They do incur some losses, so that's not the best. Some mining time is lost, no third base, no natural for Iron. But here comes the siege tank. So if these vultures can contain the goons for a little bit longer, and you'll set up 1 or 2 siege tanks here, the game will be increasingly difficult for Skynet. And here comes the tank. Here comes another. So this 1-base play is going to go great for Iron. And here comes the tank. Has it got siege mode? Yes, it will. But Sky now moving out with a nice contingent of forces. Oh, and that tank is very lucky. Takes some damage from the mines, but not decisive. It's not dead yet. And you can see this swamp of vultures, which is just taking the toll on the zealots. Oh, and the tank gets killed. That's very good. And I heard a tank siege. Where is it? No, it's not there yet. And now it's a bit of a muddle in the middle. But every time Sky is building zealots, that will mean that the vultures will have free range of the natural, and here comes the tank. So Sky's unit composition is bad. That is not good at all. It's building a nexus somewhere. Oh, in the third, that's very dangerous, but you can see that the goons all got mopped up and tricked on mines, and now Iron is in control of the natural. All the workers get killed. And Sky just didn't analyze that at all correctly. It built a lot of zealots which got basically killed for nothing. Hasn't got a worker left in the world. And Iron is taking the first game. So congratulations. No, I don't want that. I just want to load the second game. And this time, let's see if Sky has learned anything. And let's see if Iron still brings that deadly mixture of vultures with a couple of tanks. But it was really the mines and the vultures which killed Skynet the first game. And Sky going for a quick nexus once more. And only then going for a gateway. And Iron with a nice wall. Nice touch right there. And I can only hope that Sky has got the analytical power not to build as many zealots again. And this is very well done, killing the first few mines of that vulture. And then, no, not losing a goon here as well. But then this goon gets killed because it's out on its own, and these two are bad. So the army micro of Iron is a little bit better. But still, Sky is in there, and don't build too many zealots and don't kill yourself on mines. That's not good at all. Of course, the great competitor of Skynet used to be Icebot, and Icebot did build a lot of zealots, but he moved out a lot later and didn't rely on mines so much. But for now, Sky is doing okay. More goons, they have got range, I must assume, and are killing some units. But you can see all the zealots that Sky builds are basically thrown away. And killing so many mines, that's good. And in the production tab, you only see goons right now, so that's good. At least for Sky. It's interesting to see. Oh, here comes the zealot, that's bad. And now the vulture numbers really start cranking up, and Sky has got its army rather split off. And then what you get is that these vultures, they keep dying, but the mines will take out the stray goons. Like here, oh dear, that's not good at all, but still Sky can compete for a little bit, but now is going to produce zealots, and that is, I think, a mistake, because you can basically play this goon versus vulture thing quite a bit, versus a one-base Terran, but then again, you have got to take into consideration that you are going to throw away supply if you are going to build zealots. And here come the zealots. So for now, the battle is raging here in the middle. And we'll probably see that Iron is going to take a little bit more of the map, and Sky will have to build a third base right quick. Has got the money, isn't doing so. I think that pylon might just be one slot too far to the right. And Iron's army is now of the same size as that of Sky. And that is going to be problematic. But still, the goons in the middle doing great, and the zealots are now coming toe-to-toe with the tanks, which is a matchup they like more. And the tank might be killed. Yes, Sky doing very good, getting ahead in supply, and still no third base. That's really bogging me at this point. No natural yet for Iron, and Iron is under pressure. This goon with full HP is cornering a couple of vultures, and for now, I think that Sky is doing great, cornering another tank. That's very good. Could lose a little bit less, but it's okay, as it's got a 2 versus 1 base situation, and these zealots, they help clean up the vultures, which they've got pinned to the wall. And as long as these vultures can't maneuver, I think Ice is in a good position. And now Sky is in a good position. So Sky is doing pretty well, is building all kinds of technology, and you can see that the army disparity is growing. It used to be 24-24, and now it's 36-19, and this tank is out on its own. It's getting chased by a lot of goons and one zealot, so it can't really maneuver. This mine, oh, the mine is the thing that killed the tank, but now the natural is locked in, and the map control is definitely on Sky's side and immediately plants down that Nexus. Sky is rolling. We've got a tank on the high ground, 2 tanks on the high ground, but here come the Zealots, and then I think it's good to have Zealots because these Vultures and Marines can't maneuver anymore, and the Zealots take the base by storm. And once you see that many Zealots with this few army, and the workers have to come out to defend, it is all over. The third is up. There is a worker transfer in progress, and Sky, look at the main of Sky. This building placement is immaculate. All the units can move in and out, and for a bot of 2013, that is really brilliant. The army supply of Ironbot is somewhat stabilizing. It's regained control of the main. It's got 1 tank up, but now there is an observer overhead, and Sky will see everything. And Sky is killing even more Vultures, still losing stuff, 2 mines here and there, but it's now 3 versus 1 bases. And Iron is having to fight hard, losing another tank, and that's all the tanks, I suppose. So it's now 46 Protoss supply with Templar. Have they got? They've got Storm, so that is how you play a game. Even if you are from the past, it is going to be a party to watch. The last 3 games, I believe, of this best of 5. Iron won the first one, and Sky is definitely going to win this one because I don't think it's going to crash. Production tab, lots of gateway units, even bringing Storm to the fore. No 4th base yet, but what can you can't say too much to that, even with an Archon kicking ass. 3rd game of Iron versus Sky is going to be played right soon. A little bit smaller map, so perhaps this will benefit Iron a little bit more, but Sky certainly proves that it can row with the best of the youngsters. And as Ironbot took number 3 position in the round robin phase, it is very, very good. And now it's not going to be a fast expansion for Skynet, chasing the scouting SUV, going, I think, for quick goons. That might be good. War for Iron is there, and now, only now, the factory is starting. So if these goons kill it, yes, now there will be a contain on the side of... Oh no, it's going to wait. You've got to be kidding me. You are not going to play You're not going to be playing ranged goons and then wait that long to move out. There is the first tank, and of course that's siege mode. So this is not going to go at all well, especially with this small choke and some pot shots. And yeah, that is... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. 2 tanks now, and this is over. There is no army for Skynet, and Skynet has just taken the natural and is guarding the wrong choke. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think that when it was in its heyday that there were no bases with 2 chokes, so Sky picking up on the wrong choke, and here comes the contain. The tanks will keep at home for the time being, and Sky has now got a nice army. So you haven't got to neglect them, but Iron has got the 2nd base, so it's going to play a bit more macro heavy. And then I think with the Vultures and the mines it will be more effective than Sky, and Sky still defending the wrong choke. Oh dear, that's not going to go at all well, but the 3rd base for Sky is up. Worker transfer hasn't reached it. It's trying to defend, but the Vultures are now out of the main, and you can see newer Protosses just planting 1 or 2 cannons just to prevent exactly this kind of thing. And that is not as much life lost as mining time, and it's just very unstable because all your units are going to be pulled in all directions because of the Vulture incursions. And Iron is going to play a little bit more tank heavy. And you can see, although Andrew Smith has got about 15 army supply, it will be very hard to maintain that in the face of this siege army of Irons. And you can see already all the mines all over the map. But still Sky doing okay, losing a lot of force to the Vultures though. So before... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, these minefields are really doing Sky in. That's not good. And here come the tanks for some additional juice. The Vultures sort of protecting them. And you now see that Sky has only got 16 army supply left. There are... Oh, that's the scouting SUV. The mining is going on okay, but these Vultures are just too much. and their numbers are too great for the Zealots to deal with. They can now even pick up straight fights with the Goons, and with a Wraith overhead you'll know it's going to go only one way. So mines are being laid in the natural, and now Iron has got its game plan laid out. The tanks are rolling up, and once you've got that many tanks in your natural, it's not going to go well. Iron appears to be closing this game. What can Sky do anymore? Not much. Straight pack of goons trying to defend the main, but it's all too much. It's 14 versus 60 army supply. There are even vultures and wraiths in the third. Nice bit of tech going on here. Third base for Iron gets operational, and yeah, that's the game. That's the 2-1. Let's hop into the town. I can't think more. It's 2-1 versus for Iron versus Skynet. This is a large map again, so perhaps that will benefit Skynet. Skynet, of course, is the bot of Andrew Smith. And let's see how it's going to play out. Wall in a little bit clunky position. That's going to block the command center for sure. But perhaps that might be one of these small advantages that Skynet needs. Skynet going to play ranged goons once more. Didn't really succeed with that last game. The fast expand was doing it much better over there. And now you can see that Iron's got these tanks up already. And with the SUV repair and the second tank, it's going to be glorious. And that is just... oh, I thought that was one too far off to the left. But Iron now in control of this game and has got the natural operational quicker than had Skynet. So still a large map, and perhaps Skynet can get anything done with perhaps a quick third base and a large army. You can see army supply is about double for Sky at this moment, but here come the mines. And once this map has been crossed, some damaged units will reach the tank lines of Iron, and Iron will start blasting and laying down the law. So Sky going for a third base, but when? And meanwhile is wasting a lot of forces in the natural choke. Iron even's got some one tank on the high ground, and although these bases get damaged, the SUV repair is that good that the army disparity will start growing. No third base. Oh, a mine placed right there, and now all the bases save these two. Oh no, only these two bases have been mined, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Skynet to take on the base. And Iron is just going to build more and more. And the vultures aren't the problem. Well, the mines are pretty deadly, but the tank count is. And although Sky has got a decent army, let's see how this engagement is going. The mines pick off some zealots, the vultures will take out some further zealots, and then the mines will start eating into the goon counts, and the goons aren't clustered, they haven't got an observer, and these kind of minefields are just the nail in the coffin for a decent goon army. And you see how little is left once the army reaches Iron. Iron is playing a beautiful defensive game right here, and then the tanks start blasting. And it will be increasingly difficult for Sky to get anything done. Lots of cannons is good versus the zealots, but then again here, the zealots, the vultures. Here come the vultures again, and this time they are paying a little bit of a price, running by and taking some shots from the goons. That's good, but here comes the tank corps, and once the tanks reach the natural, Andrew Smith Skynet hasn't got the army to contest it anymore. Third base also started for Iron, and that is, I think, Iron's ticket into the round of 8. And Sky will have to be demoted to the losers bracket. So yeah, there we go. And here goes the natural. Here goes the main. I'm going to speed it up just a tiny little notch, because there's always a chance there Sky will stage a beautiful comeback somehow. Is going to rebuild all the technology, starting with an Arbiter Tribunal. The Wraiths, of course, can't really contest all the cannons, so that's going to be difficult, but right now Iron is approaching max, is not taking a full base yet, and taking its sweet time to distribute the damage quite evenly between all the buildings. I don't know what that's about, but right now they're going to fall on in quick succession, and the army of Iron is going to converge upon this last pocket of Protoss resistance, Oh, and the tanks might not even reach that. At least not before a lot of vultures like money. Oh yeah, there we go. So tanks from the top, tanks from the bottom. That's the good game. 4th base for Iron up with production in the 4th base as well. That's very good. And this is the game. So Sky out, Iron in the round of 8. And we won't have a beautifully updated... can I... No, I haven't got access to that. That's a pity. I should have, really, because then I could update the bracket while I cast, but Steamhammer took out Crazio, and Crazio down, and Iron will be playing Steamhammer next game, so that's good. And of course Crazio and Andrew Smith will play here in the losers round 1. Next game up though, it's going to be Marion DeVecker's Killbot versus TSU Protos 2. TSU has got many bots, but TSU Protos 2 was the best, so we that was picked for this game, and that is Forge Fast Expand, if I'm not very much mistaken. Killer going for a quick Nexus, then a quick hatch, and then a pool. So TSU playing the defensive cannon game, and then going for a gateway in the main map. Quick 3rd base for Killer. And Killer now doing the contain with a very soft contain with only 3 Zerglings. And there you go. So some more Zerglings are coming up. And this looked like some kind of an extended cannon kind of thing. The Lings try to nip it in the bud, but they fail. And now Killer has got a great economy, but also spent a lot of money on creep colonies. And that may be good defensively, but we'll see if they'll come into play very much. The army of Killer is tiny, and TSU is just not overdoing it, but has got some kind of an army. And that's always good to have. Killer, I don't know what it's doing, it's building a lot of Sunkens. I think that's a mistake, because the army of TSU isn't all there yet and hasn't started moving yet. And now it's taking some more breathing room. And it's all Zealots, so you have got... Oh, wow. TSU decided, well, no attack imminent, let's do a huge investment in production capacity with high tempos to boot. And Killer is taking a 4th base for good measure, and has finally started to build some units, some Hydras as well. Those Zealots will have speed by now, and +1 and +1 armor. Hydras, of course, have got speed and range, and overall speed is about to be done. No storm yet for TSU. And Killer needs to get an army together and not all split up. Now the Hydras start fighting the Zealots. Oh, and in the retreat they lose some. But these Sunkens are really going to take their toll. Oh, well, at least one Zealot died, and that's something. But Killer is now contained, and TSU is just going to be producing a lot of units and try to go for map control. That's good. It's got a huge army. Killer has got a tiny army, hasn't got lurkers yet. And now TSU just going straight for the jugular, the natural, but loses and throws away about 30 army supply. The attack on the 3rd is still going though, but there are some Hydras, and Killer is going to sweep round the bend with a lot more Hydras. So that is, although some workers are lost, I think the 3rd is going to be held, and then TSU will have thrown away 50 army supply and not really have got anything done. Oh, the 4th was cancelled or killed. That's good. And TSU now, oh, that's a lot of hatcheries, is out with some Corsairs, which is good as well, but the army of Killer is just not there. There is no army. There are 4 Sunkens over here, and the Sunkens here have been rebuilt, but there is no army for Killer, and that's going to be the problem. TSU main still got half the resources in there, and you can see that the Protoss army is converging upon the 3rd once more, and if the 3rd falls, I think that Killer will be out of the game pretty soon. And there it goes, more Corsairs doing damage to Overlords. Killer not supply block, but Killer has got no army, has got no technology, is losing the third, and TSU is taking a third. So look at that. That's some really impressive unit production right there. Production tab wise, lots of Hydras, but army count, it's 90 to 9, and that's not good at all for no one. You can't do that. Or perhaps with Dark Templars versus an army without observers and splash damage, but Killer, foregoing army production, is going to lose the first game, and TSU is going to take it in style. More cannons in the main just for extra security. Third base not even populated yet, and oh dear, they can't. They don't really know what to do with these neutral minerals, so that's unfortunate. And some quick defense is being thrown up by Killer, but I think, oh, the main army is going elsewhere. I don't know why. Oh, trying to kill a Zergling. So yeah, Killer trying to do what it can with 3 Sunkens, but it's 3.5 versus 95 army supply, and frankly, I don't see this happening. Here comes the army of TSU, and the Zealots just overrun anything and everything, and that is going to be the game. Hydras among the workers are doing great. Workers will have to come off the line, but the Zealots have got their own +1. But that's the game. So next game up is going to be on Jade, and that's going to be the question. And both bots have got, of course, this capability of picking build orders based on last game's results. So Killer might do something else, is going for a scouting drone. I don't know how I like that. And is going for a somewhat quick natural expansion again. And TSU sticking to its game, going for the Forge Fast Expand again. Or really for Fast Expand without cannons, because the scouting probe is there and it sees no finished spawning pool. So then you put down your Nexus first and the cannon after, and I think it's going to be fine and dandy. A couple of workers for extra defense, and perhaps a second cannon. Oh, and a cannon and a Zealot can hold off quite a number of Zerglings. And now the third base in a peculiar position for Killer. And Killer, what's it going to do? Are these going to be drones? Yes, they are. And a quick lair. So perhaps we'll have some kind of Hydra play. TSU committing to a lot of cannons. On the one hand, that's safe. On the other hand, that can be quite risky because you are not going to contest the Zerg for map dominance. But still, you can see Killbot is not building any units. Well, a small handful, and that's, I think, going to be difficult to play with. And now it's rocking up slowly to 4.5, 2 Hydras and 4 Zerglings, and that's just what's it making? Oh, a fat round of drones again, and losing a Hydra once more. So it's 3.5 versus 18 army supply, and the Corsairs are out. So Killer, I can't for the life of me imagine how this is supposed to work, because without an army you can't do nothing, and the Corsairs are in among the Overlords, and Killer is now supply blocked. Building Overlords for all that it can. Some Hydras are coming in to help, but the army supply is 10 to 30, and it's just not going to work. Now the Hydras are in command once more, but there are so many Zealots out that even the Hydras, they can't do anything, and in retreating they lose 4 or 5 friends. The Sunkens, of course, come out to help, and that is doing okay-ish. The Archon is going to die, and Killer now going for a 4th and another hatch. So I'd say that would be good. Keeping tabs on TSU, that's good as well. The Hydra core should keep close together though, and it's going toe-to-toe with the Hydras, with the Archons and the Zealots, but I think that this might just be decided in favor of the Zerg, and with only melee units, I think Protoss is making a mistake. The army supplies are about even right now, and there is a lot of stuff coming in from the Zerg. Lots of workers as well. It's got 50 versus 42 workers, of course 4 versus 2 bases. And a TSU banking on a lot of Zealots, and you can do that, but only up to a point. If the Hydra crowd army is growing too strong, the Zealots will just evaporate after a while, and certainly when they've got to close the distance as well. That said, this engagement of Killer is losing so much in retreat, but here come more Hydras. They're coming in from everywhere, and if Killer ever gets to a 5th base, this game will be very hard for TSU, and TSU is fighting very well. It's very dedicated, it's not too harassy. Oh, and these Archons are really mopping up the Hydras. The army count for Killbot is down again. Wow, that's so amazing. TSU is fighting so hard with the limited forces it's got, but it's got to be careful not to get countered by large armies of Hydras, and it's fighting so very well, not even a single goon in there, and Killer is losing stuff, it's losing a lot of stuff, but still doing okay. This defense is good. Killer is going for more and more workers, and TSU going for a 3rd, but the 3rd is found out and under attack, and these Hydras are killing, the Zealots, and I think that TSU is going to save the 3rd, and if TSU gets the 3rd up, it will be in a very good position. The Archon, though, is falling, and there is only one Archon standing behind. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, this is going to be a tense battle. One Archon and a badly damaged Archon and Zealot on the high ground, 2 Archons and a Zealot, and Killbot. The Hydras are coming. Is there storm? There is no storm. The natural is going to be under attack, but the 3rd is going to be under attack too, and these Zealots and Archons are going to stop the influx of units from the main. Is that going to work? I don't know. But the 3rd is sort of up, and with 1 or 2 cannons over here, TSU could have a very needed relief from the dropping out of the main. These minerals are gone, and now Killer is in the main. This Archon, the Archon just evaporated. Now Killbot has got 50 versus 70 army supply, doing okay, but the Hydra count is just too large at this point, and TSU is not fighting cost effectively anymore. The army sizes are equaling out. Killbot is not taking a 5th base yet, but look at the number of hatcheries. And of course the Corsairs are doing some stuff right here and there, but it's just not enough. The 3rd is falling and the main is out, so TSU is out, up on a tree in a paddle, out on its back. It's under a lot of pressure, and here come the Hydras. It's now got half the army supply that Zerg has, and although Zerg does its best to sacrifice a lot of Hydras for nothing, every time it comes to a fight, it's going to be bloody, and although Protos is trading cost effectively, no storm yet. A couple of storms in this narrow choke might have been golden, but Zerg is just going to steamroll the map, and this base has been found out already before even I spotted it. Killer is on top of the game, and this Hydra cloud will just start growing, and TSU is out of money. So these will be the last units, and Killer is going to build more and more, not overdoing it on the upgrades. If you're going to play that many Hydras, you might build +2, +3 as well. But here you go. Hydras are coming in from everywhere. No 5th base yet. The main is still mining for Killer, while the natural is basically out for TSU, and that is going to be the equalizer. So the score is 1-1. And a small map once again, and let's see which build orders these bots will pick. So Killbot going for an Overlord, TSU going for the Forge Fast Expand once more. Quick hatch, then a pool, should be a pool. Or is that going to be another hatch? That would be beyond greedy. No, it's another pool, and then another hatch. So pretty greedy again by Killer. Succeeded last game with this build order. Lots of Hydras. TSU building a lot of cannons again, but now small Zealots. The Zealots are out on the warpath. And Killer is very low on army supply. Pardon me. These early stage of the game. And should really try not to lose too much. TSU might just overrun it with Zealots in a concerted push. And I know that TSU can do that, so let's watch. TSU going for some Corsairs, that's good, but the timing will be just off, because I think there will be a Hydra Den done as well, and Killer is really going to play very defensive, low army count. And where's the Corsair? Scouting probe being set on by 2 Lings, and you can see how little army there is for Zerg, only 5 supply worth of army, and that I think will make a couple of overlords very unhappy. One certainly is going to be killed, and I think another one will be found as well. So that's not all that great, but now the Hydras are going to come into play. But TSU has got the Zealot contained sort of there, of course, versus 4 Sunkens and a handful of Zerglings. It will be very hard to get anything done, but it will give TSU the chance to do something, and it's going for exactly the same build order. No Storm, but Archons and 2 base play, lots of production capacity, and let's see if it can get the show to run. This third is very secluded for a killer, so might be in danger of being sacked by a handful of Zealots. Still, there are 4 Sunken, so I think that's a good decision. All in all, this might have been a wiser third, because it just can be protected a little bit easier, and the army from the main and the natural have a long way to go. And here comes TSU going for the Sunkens and the Hydras. There is no relief army, and the army of Killer is very small indeed. So the Zealots basically take out the third, I believe. More Sunkens are built. The Zealot count is dropping somewhat, but they have got this base suppressed. And of course this contain is going to be hard fought, and I think that TSU might just have enough Zealots to deal with that as well. Only 4 Hydras left, and 4 Hydras is not a contain versus a Protoss. 2 Hydras die, the third is stamped into the ground, and now Killer has got a lot of Overlords, way too many Overlords, and is now building a fat round of drones, but it's going to be 2 versus 2 bases, and TSU's got a major army advantage. Should kill the Hydra Den as well, although in the large scheme of things it won't matter too much. Lair being restarted for Killer, I wonder why, because it's not really used for anything. And TSU's got nearly 100 versus 15 army supply. There are Archons about, killing Overlords. And although TSU might just hold this with all the Hydras coming up from the main, the Sunkens are getting damaged. And the Corsairs are in there once more. TSU should take a third, and is ready to do so once it's got the money. Saving up money. Yes, there it goes. And if it can... the Zealots try again and again. And this is like the Alamo. There are workers, there are Sunkens, but there are just way too many Zealots coming out of Killbot. And Killbot is trying to do this with 7.5 army supply, and that is not going to be worth it at all, I feel. But what can you do? You just got to keep fighting until the game's over. TSU, though, is rolling the map with a large army. Third base nearly up, and it looks like that is going to be that. So we'll take a 2-1 lead in all probability. Some hasty Sunkens are being thrown up once more to help stem the tide of the invading Zealots. The Archons, they do take a little while to make it to the main, but as there's nothing happening, no workers, no army, this is the good game. And this is the last chance of Killbot to make it work, to get into the round of 8 through the winners bracket. Let's see what build order it picks. TSU going for another Forge Fast Expander. This is the same map. Am I doing this right? Yes, I am doing this right. Actually, it's not the same game as last game. Sorry, I had to check that out because the positions are similar and the scouting probe is in a very ballsy position. And Killer going for exactly the same build order. And it's really not the same game, is it? Okay. Did I make a mistake? No. Apparently it's exactly the same map played twice for some reason. And Killer going for exactly the same build order. So TSU doing that too. That's eerie. I don't know why the same map's picked twice in a row. But as it is, we are going to have another fight under the exact same parameters. So Killbot again staying on a low army count with a lot of sunkens and a very soft contain. The Hydras are there a little bit quicker this game, so perhaps that's good for Killer, I don't know. Killer though should make more army and less drones in this stage of the game. That is too defensive, and TSU will just run away with it once the army starts reaching this kind of size, and you've only got 5 army supply. It's really beyond me, and making a lot of overlords because, well, of course the Corsairs are there, and that's a good play by TSU. It will put a lot of pressure on Killer. Killer going for an extra sunken over here, and TSU's army seems to be veering towards the natural, and Killer taking a 4th, which has not been found out. And if these Hydras don't do their utmost, oh god, they are stupid. They die anyway, and also betray the location of this base. That's not good. Small link checking that base over here. TSU's got a lot of zealots, and I think that Killbot is trying to expand too heavily with only 20 army supply and losing 2 bases just like that. Not good. Should just try and do something about these zealots first. You can do that with a lot of Hydras, and quite easily. They've got range, they've got speed, they should have some more upgrades. And the 3rd base is going strong this game. It's not being attacked, but here comes the army of TSU, seems to be converging upon the 3rd, and Killer's army is being distracted by the Corsairs. And although the Corsairs don't kill as many overlords, they will give the chance to this army to do away the 3rd, and this will most likely be a repeat of last game where the 3rd dies, and now the Hydra Den isn't there as well, whereas the Hydra Den is in the natural, and Killer has got 1 hidden base. It should, it's going to be found. That's pretty unfortunate, and immediately 100 supply Protoss army sweeps round to the top left corner to stamp it out, and Killer is fighting an uphill battle with 20 versus 100 army supply. TSU is coming into its own, taking a 3rd, making some more Corsairs, and mopping up Hydras with just Zealots, while the main army is going to go after the natural, killing a lot of stuff, losing a lot as well, but these Hydras, they can't, with only 10 of them, stop a 100 supply army. It's just not going to happen. TSU is going to roll and clean up the series 3-1. Army count for Zerg is down, and the worker count as well. So that's the GG, and we are going to go into the next game, which will be Ludas versus Hammer. And of course Ludas made the way to the bracket. I'll have to show you as the number 2 versus number 15 Hammer. That's going to be very interesting to watch. And again, we'll have a best of 5. And Hammer, very impressed that it made it through. That's some very good play for a bot which hasn't been updated in quite a while, and with all the good competition out there as well. So here we go. Ludas starting out with a quick expand before the first gate has been built. Hammer going for 3 hatches, and if it's going to play a lot of Zerglings, might actually do well. Let's hope it builds some more army. Oh, and the run-by fails miserably at the hand of these 2 cannons. Now there are 4, so that's that, as they say. Now Eric is going for Hydras, but the worker count is okay. It built a 3rd base, it's only using that for hatchery, and now for mining as well. So that's pretty good, that can recoup the investment. And Ludas is, I think, going for a lot of goons. The goon micro of Ludas is absolutely stellar. It's beyond anything what we've ever seen from a Protoss. So once we get a fair number of goons out on the map, it will take a lot of force and very good micro to stop that. Now here come the Hydras. They will kill the Zealot, probably. Yeah, and now it's Zealots versus the goons. The Hydras versus the goons. The goon numbers aren't there yet. Their range is better. They, although the range must be about similar, the Hydras have got the range upgrade as well, but we can see that they are fighting a beautiful rearguard action, but Hammer is taking 1 more base. The 3rd is populated, so Hammer is doing the pressure into a mass expanded Sauron kind of thing. And now they're pinning the goons to the wall. The bridges are not at all a good place to micro with goons, and this Hydra pressure is going to go very, very well in the early stage of the game. And worker-wise, Ludas has got 40 and Eric only 20, but Eric has got 4 bases, so can scale up a little bit better. And Eric is now going to retreat. I think that's a wise decision. Should be careful not to lose too many Hydras while doing that. And that's one big fat round of drones. So the map control you buy with a successful Hydra push, and these Hydras should keep moving. Otherwise the tails of the last ones will be picked off. And now there will be Zerglings. And Zerglings are pretty good versus goons. So let's see how that's going to play out. Ludas going for a third, and Ludas now taking some map control back, and Arakhammer hasn't got an army left, and that's not good. So the Hydras all died, and the Zerglings aren't there yet, and the third is up for the slaughter. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There is no Zerg army. Arakhammer just was a little bit too greedy and is losing the third. Here come the Zerglings with a couple of Hydras. They might just save the third, but the reinforcements are coming for the Ludas as well. And although the Zerglings can do good in confined spaces, pinning down the goons, versus here you go. You've got a nice goon army, and it's going to pick up stray units one at a time, now going for the fourth. And Arakhammer is just a little bit too slow. Ludas, with a 40 supply goon army, can do and will do quite well. You can see small puddles of Zerg blood here and there, left, right and center. The fourth base is down. The third for Ludas is up, and Ludas can do this game too. If it's got map control, it will expand, make more production, and this goon micro is too much, it looks like, for Arakhammer. Arakhammer a little bit too greedy, and Ludas not overcommitting, going for the third again, just playing it rather slowly, and I like that style. And Arakhammer hasn't got an army again. And the eggs are being left alone, and now Ludas is going for the natural. There are only 2 Sunkens over there, and although a handful of rallies are coming in, I don't think it's really going to work. Ludas is blanketing the map in red bases and producing goons. So unit composition wise, I think that Arakhammer did the right thing, and although Arakhammer had a nice bit of damage going in the early game, just wasn't able to switch into Zerglings without losing the Hydras, and that made it rather vulnerable for the inevitable goon push. So next game up, it's going to be a large map once more. So let's see which build order will be favored by these 2 bots. We've got the Ludas going for, I think, a Forge Fast Expand again, and blocking off the natural. That is so nice, and I think that's the same build order that Killbot picked earlier, but with an extra in-base hatch. That's good. So, oh, sorry, the Zergling train is on the way, but right now there are 2 cannons. Is the run by going to be attempted once again? Yes, it is, and 2 Zerglings will make it through. 2 workers killed. I do think that's 3 workers killed. That's okay, and now some mining time lost because the probes are chasing the Zerglings. Oh, 1 dies and the other one dies as well. So 3 workers killed, bit of mining time lost. I think that is worth it for 6 Zerglings. Early game, a little bit better for Arakhammer this game, but still Ludas up in its castle, and Arak down to 2 bases, not going to take a third that quickly. And I really like these bots with multiple build orders. They can just do so much. Oh, and Arakhammer, where is your bloody army? This is just not good at all. So many workers lost, just nothing happening. Handful of Mutas, but Mutas in a straight up fight versus goons, I can't see it happening, especially not versus the goons of Ludas. Mutas doing okay though, taking a lot of damage, and I think eventually the rallies of Ludas will be too much. Or will Arakhammer just in a very tight... Oh, the goons are only running and the Mutas are regenerating. And now I think Arakhammer might have a shot at this game. killing a lot of goons. Should be careful with the cannons. Third base taken. Lots of Zerglings coming in as well. The Mutas are doing beautifully, and Hammer should be careful not to fight in range of the cannons. And not neither with the Zerglings nor with the Mutas. Oh, don't! Ah, that's so tight. The Ludas has got such a good defense. Hammer's Muta Cloud is too small to take on this defense head on. Perhaps with the third base, and the Muta Cloud should be augmented once more, but Hammer is going for drones again, and it's just so greedy. It's so greedy. Now with two Sunkens doing okay, but the Mutas should stay the hell away from these goons. As you are not going to take on 3 goons as a single Muta, that's just suicidal. And now again Hammer is going to lose the third because it's got no army. How? Oh, that's... And Ludas, of course, the monster machine that it is, with deadly precision, will just out-micro any stray Zerg unit that will be thrown into its face, taking 2 bases at a time. Going to build a lot of units, and Hammer, why are you doing this? It was so close. That Muta pack was doing brilliantly. You should just have sat back, macro up slowly, build more Mutas, and these Lings are wasted. There is no army. It's 4 versus 30, and Ludas is just keeping a lot of forces at home, not even making storm, but these goons alone will take care of the natural. And although 1 or 2 may be lost to the rallies from the main, so many workers have been lost. It is... no, it's not fair. Of course it's fair, it's just a game, but... these goons of Ludas are so good, and this is just not going to work. Hammer lying on its back, and Ludas just taking way too many bases for Zerg to handle. And with 60 versus 11 workers and 40-50 versus 0 army supply, this game is over. So that's the 2-0. Third game up. It's going to be Circuit Breaker 1.0, and let's see if Hammer can make the transition. Early game, strong, keeping Ludas contained and doing very well in general, and then the switch to the mid game is absolutely, or was absolutely bonkers the last 2 games, just foregoing any army, suiciding what army there was left, and then Ludas rolled in with the goons and settled matters in a very amicable way. And this run by, the first 2 times it did not succeed. Let's see how it will go this time. This time 3 Zerglings will get in. 1 worker lost, that's about it. 1 worker, a little bit mining time. So worse than last game. And I think it's a nice strat, but it didn't really come off, and if it doesn't work 2 times, the 3rd time you've either got to make it a little bit different or try and do it. Drop it, just do something else and save the minerals for some better purpose. And again, there is no army. There is no Zerg army. Where is the bloody army? And now there are Zerglings and Mutas. The Zerglings doing okay, but you can see this retreating micro from Ludas is just doing the numbers. And Hammer is going to go in with 3 Mutas versus 4 goons, and I think that is beyond insane. It's just willfully throwing away units for no good purpose at all. Just sit back, let the Sunken do something, and once you've got a little bit of cloud, then you go and pick off stray goons, and yeah, like that. That is much better. And you may lose some Mutas here and there, but then again the army of the enemy will suffer as well. And with the Lings, that is a nice stratagem. Just let the Lings close the distance and do the damage with the Mutas. Very well done. Mopping up goons. Good. So Hammer doing well. Let's take stock, because Ludas is taking a 3rd. Perhaps overextending. Hammer is not doing so. Making another, I think it's an Evo chamber, and has got a fair number of drones, about half of that of Protoss, and is making the switch to Hydras. Again, switch to Hydras. So Ludas has got this 2-base economy with 2 cannons over here, but now there are Lings and Mutas approaching, and Hammer might well break this with the units it's got. First cannon going down. Goon, and then the Mutas just go AFK, and it's beyond. Now here they come again, but now the Hydras are not in there, and it's just... it's not bad, but it's got to be just an inch better, and you can These armies are so differently, and the goons just keep firing at a steady rate and being replenished. Now the third base is up, and Hammer now taking the third. I think that is not the right time, and the Mutas and the Hydras are going to be mobbed up by the goons. So the Cudas playing it brilliantly, just defending quite nicely with the goons, and Hammer is not comfortable making the switch after the first damage has been done, whether it be Hydras or Mutas that make the first dent in the Cudas' armor. The switch after is just not good enough for the Cudas. The Cudas, well, it's the number 2 from the round robin, so that says something. It is a monster of a bot, and I can only hope it will face Seda sometime. But it will be a hard lot to beat this Cudas. Look at it go. These are only 4 goons, and they're doing so much damage, not only versus Zerg, but also versus static defenses. Now an Archon is coming to come into play as well, and Hammer will hold, but with 4 bases up for the Cudas, and the Cudas having so many production buildings, it's going to be nigh impossible to hold that. The Sunkens with the Zerglings, that's good defending. You let your army fight together, and that makes it stronger. And earlier we saw that with Killer versus Iron, all the units getting killed. Oh no, it was Sky versus Iron, all the goons tripping on mines. And now Hammer in its attack. The units were just not close enough, they weren't fighting as a team. And as a result, there are all kinds of nasty Protoss units in your natural. The Cudas with a devastating performance, taking down Hammer 3-0. And look at all the bases it's taken, so macro-wise. Started out just building probes, and then once you get a little breathing room, take bases, populate them, build more units, and that is going to be the GG. So next game up, it's going to be Banana Brain versus Halan, and Halan is a clone of Iron. It is not a clone, it's an improvement, or at least a modification. I think that if we look at the rankings, Halan got in 12th and Ironbot the 3rd, so Ironbot's still better. But it's based on Iron, and you should notice that from its play. Banana Brain is a diligent Protoss, and although it didn't look like it was going to make the round of 16 earlier on, it came back with a very strong second half, and that makes me suspect that its learning is above average. So Banana Brain going for a quick expand without a SimCity, like you saw the Cudas do. That may have its disadvantages, but it also has got the advantage that you can... Oh dear, that's still happening in 2018, that's all 2019, but it's the 2018 finals. You can also have your fighting forces out on the map a little bit quicker, and it's going for some Zealots and of course ranged goons. Ranged goons are good. And Halan is going to do things with vultures like we are used to from Iron, and with a rather slow natural. Going for tanks, this must be siege mode, and some depots, lots of tanks, so in that it differs from Iron. And Banana is going for a quick third. I hope it's going to build a pylon and a couple of cannons, but that third is really exposed to vulture raids. And behind that it's going to be a forge, and I should say more gateways. With only 3 gateways from 3 bases is not a lot. And this pylon will allow Protoss to build some cannons over here, that's good. Army-wise, I think that it's about even. The thing is that there are tanks, and the siege mode is done. Vulture, speed and mine soon too, and this will be very hard for Protoss to break. Third base is good, but then you're going to need a lot of army and shock troops like Zealots to overrun the tanks. And here we see why. The tanks start blasting. Oh, the first tank exposed and gets killed. That, I think, is a win for a Banana. Because although there are more tanks in Halan's arsenal, of one base you can't... Oh, the mines! Oh, these goons are very lucky that they are close together, because the damage potential is insane, but then again they can snipe mines as well. So third base up for Banana, fourth base taken. Halan not even having a natural. Natural command center is there, but it's used in mining gas from the main gas refinery. And now Banana Brain will have the advantage of unbridled economic growth, and you'll see that it's going to be asserting a little bit of map control. Halan has only got 27 army supply, and these vultures are very brave trying to put pressure on this goon army, but it's just not going to work. And there are some observers which are a little bit quicker than we saw in Sky versus Iron. So I think that Banana Brain is a little bit stronger than Sky, and Halan maybe a little bit weaker than Iron. So that will give you the approximate parameters of this match. Still no cannons at any base. But you see that the army supply of Banana Brain is 76 versus only about 30 for Halan. And Halan has got all the bases lined up, but is going to face some pressure as Banana Brain's army is going to make it over to the map. And here come the cannons. So that will mean that these bases are relatively safe from small vulture incursions. And the army is free to put pressure on the tank lines. And the tank lines are good, doing a lot of damage, but they've got no supporting units. And that is like aircraft carrier without supporting units. They are vulnerable to random damage, and you've got a lot of fighting power concentrated in just a few units. Repair of the bunker is good, but there is no marine in there, and that's unfortunate. There is one more tank. It's going to be repaired like a madman. Halan holding on for dear life with just one tank. Is there another tank coming? Tank falls, and now you can see all the units coming up from Banana Brain. Even a Reaver crawling over slowly, being set on by a couple of Wraiths. But now the natural command center, which has finally landed, is being demolished. And yeah, what can you say? Halan under a lot of pressure. Banana Brain is rolling so many gateways, and production tab shows us that there are a lot of units coming, even an Arbiter, but I don't know that the Arbiter will be... oh, we've got stasis done as well before there even is an Arbiter. Oh, that's great. Nice storm, but the High Templar stormed itself. Very unfortunate. But that's the first game done. So, next game up, it's Circuit Breaker. And let's see if these bots have learned anything. If yes, what? Halan should take a natural a little bit quicker, defend it, and then build more units, because last game Banana Brain just got too many opportunities to macro like a champion, and it can do quite well with that. This time though, going for a 2-base goon without fast expansion, and maybe looking to do some damage. The wall for Halan is still up. Halan has got 2 factories, is producing a lot of units, and is trying to, or just took care of that scouting probe. The goon play is going on, that's good, but the goons are not moving out, and if you are going to do a 1-base play, you should try to get some map control with that, or else... oh, well, that's nice. Shuttle, let's see what Banana Brain's got in store for us with that build. Killing some units, and just trailing one vulture with the entire army, and I wonder what's in the shuttle. That is going to be interesting. Halan has got quite an army now, but the tank is very exposed, 1 shot, and that's that. Now 2 more tanks, and they will hardly kill anything, I'd say. This tank dies, and that tank is being sat on by Zealot. And Banana Brain is putting a lot of pressure on the natural of Terran. Mines are coming to hurt you, and the tank is delivering a lot of suppressing fire from the top. Bunker is okay, but you should put some Marines in there. We saw that last game, it didn't really work. Now, oh, the vultures are in the main base, killing a lot of workers. That's so ugly, and the goons will have to come back. They do not do so, and so many workers will be lost in the main. And finally killed. Wow, that's not good for Banana Brain, I can tell you that. And is there a... oh, the command center will be started here again. So Halan playing it very slowly. Will have a little bit of map control with the vultures though. And we'll be seeing... I hope we'll be seeing a Reaver Shuttle combination. That can be very good. And Halan is trying to start the contain with a single tank. Now 2 tanks with some SCVs. But as there are some zealots out there, it's not really going to work as well as planned. and the tank gets killed. So army-wise, I think that Banana Brain is doing well, is recuperating from the severe drone losses it incurred at the hands of the Vultures. Oh, and it's sending out a High Templar on a secret mission of its own. It's got Storm, trying to storm the Wraith, and then runs out of energy and runs back to base. And there are all kinds of units moving across the map in weird formations. Banana Brain does only appear to have one control group, and that's not the worst, but it can be quite difficult if your control group contains High Templar, Vultures and Reavers. It will get messy all over the place, and ooh, that was a lucky Vulture just to get the tank in return. Oh, that's unlucky for that Spider Mine at least. But that's an interesting matchup, just a pack of Zealots and Reavers trying to kill Vultures. All the while, the natural for Hao Pan is now up. One Zealot over here, third base up for Banana with 2 cannons for defense. And now I think it will be oh dear, dear, the Wraiths are in among the army lines and killing, trying to kill Reaver. Reaver has got quite a bit of hit points. But some air cover would have been nice, and this is just a plain waste, just wasting one Reaver, crawling about the map just to a Wraith for no good reason. And Hao Pan is asserting some map control, has got a little bit of an army lead, that's good as well. Should be taking a third base, because although Banana Brain is a little bit down and out, oh, this Vulture is pretty dead, that's stupid. And now I think that Banana Brain is going to have to deal with a contain. There are so many tanks and Wraiths and hardly any anti-air, and that's going to be exceedingly difficult. Oh, but Hao Pan doesn't really protect its forces, and there was a Reaver in the rear as well. 2 Wraiths now killing 1 Reaver, but here comes some goons, and they will of course chase away the Wraiths. If they would only engage the Wraiths, that would be nice. Is there an observer? Yes, there is, but it's checking out a siege tank and not the cloaked units, so that is unfortunate. But all in all, the skirmish is going on quite nicely, and Banana Brain, I dare say, has got the economic lead, but the third base for Hao Pan is now up. And that will mean that the skirmish in all parts of the map is going to go on for a little while longer. And just look at the army supplies for because it's very hard to cast this kind of thing. The Wraiths are doing a massive amount of damage because Banana Brain will not keep his force together and keep anti-air and observers in the same group or the same vicinity, and is not mining from this base, so that's odd. The science vessel being pretty ballsy and locked in, might find a way out, but no. You can't see it finding, yes, and now it will find this path over here, and it should be able to pass through here, but it has to find the right path, and it's sort of stuck between this cannon and a safety margin and that cannon and its safety margin, looks like, so unfortunate. But we've got the skirmish to cast, and that's all good fun. So Hao Pan mining out the main. Natural still got a lot of juice. Third still operational, and of course the same story here. But Banana Brain is a little bit more diligent on the macro. On the micro part, however, it's Hao Pan with the cloaked Wraiths doing a lot of damage. No cannons here yet, and that will mean a lot of life lost. But I think that the Vulture micro for Iron is a little bit better than that of Hao Pan. Oh, but now the tanks will be coming into play, and Banana Brain has got a puny army. And the army which it has got is suiciding itself on mines and siege tanks. So Hao Pan is in a good position, nearly having double the army supply, and with that a lot of tanks and some supporting units at least, I think it can contend the middle of the map quite well. The goons are a little bit hesitant in engaging the siege tanks, and that will of course result in a loss of life, and the repair is there for Terran. So yes, that's so many units lost for Banana Brain. Banana Brain's armies are very loose-knit confederacies of roving units, and although it's got this thing defended with cannons, and as long as there are no siege tanks at bases, I think Banana Brain can do quite well, and Banana Brain has got the eco lead, but should or could be more diligent on the harass, and now Hao Pan is killing a lot of workers. So this worker transfer didn't go too well, and Banana Brain hasn't got an army left really. It's got 28, 25 versus 80, and Halan is just setting up shop in the middle of the map. And although it's a little bit messy, I think the general picture is that it's going to be encroaching the natural choke, and as there is no army production outside of the main, the colonies will be up for grabs, and it's a good thing for Banana Brain that there will not be any tanks committed to that. But here goes the third. It's being attacked, and Banana Brain hasn't got an army left. So Halan appears to be in a good position to be evening out the score, and Banana Brain just can't get its show together, and that building placement is a little bit wacky, but if you are going to be maxed, you need to build your depots somewhere, I suppose. And now Halan is pretty much controlling the base, and again we see it taking down the main in a very even fashion. But there we go, bases under attack. This base, that base, these two bases, and Banana Brain is out. So 1-1, let's hop into the next game. And Banana Brain just lost the skirmish because of the army grouping, and I think it may be doing better on small maps. And Jade is a pretty large map as well, so don't really know how this is going to go. Again, a quick 2-base with Cyber Core. Oh, sorry, completely missed that. That was a little bit stupid of me, so I'll try and do that again. This looks like a very impressive and aggressive build by Banana Brain, going for 2 gateways, so the 2 gate, but with a fair number of workers. But it stops at 11. And now the scouting is going on, and what's this then? That's a command center and a barracks versus a 2 gate. That's pretty ballsy. So scouting probe is there, 1 marine is there, no bunker, and we've got 4 zealots versus only 1 marine. And you can sort of imagine how that goes. The worker count for Halan is falling precipitously. Oh, that at least it's got 2 command centers and they can't fly, so they cannot be touched. But all in all, I don't think it's going to work all that well. And here comes a goon. And the goon will probably know how to deal with the floating command center. And that's the game. Banana Brain leads 2-1. And that is the next one. It is Halan in the top or the bottom right. This is a beautiful map. I like this. I like this map. It's so beautifully constructed. And again we see the 2 gate, and this time there will be a wall, and hopefully with a bunker. And I like how Banana Brain just analyzed how it did very well with the 2 gate earlier, and is now going to do it again. And again a very quick command center, so Halan, the learning is not all that great, and I think with 3 it may be falling. There are 4 zealots. Where is the tank? The tank is slow in rocking up, but the SCVs with 5 of them have got things under control, and I think the tank will kill oh, where are the SCVs? You've got to be kidding me. You've got to repair that. Oh, that was the unpimpest play of the round of 16. Must be. And now there are all kinds of zealots in the main base. And it's a good thing that Banana Brain doesn't capitalize on that and starts investing in infrastructure. But that was very, very dangerous. And I think that Halan might outlive this. There are units being produced. And of course the SCVs will defend themselves somewhat. But what the production tab is look like, it's just SCVs being built, and you've got to be kidding me. This is really a really ugly kind of play. 1 vulture is going to be built, and that vulture may save it, but here are the goons, and Halan just did itself a great disservice. And what a last game of the round of 16 performance. So Banana Brain taking it 3-1. Very impressive, but this last game was really thrown away by Halan. Very unfortunate, but what can you do? So, okay, we've got 3 more best of 5s to cast. To recap, Steamhammer taking out Crazio, Ironbot took out Andrew Smith, TSU Protos killed Killbot, Ludas took down Eric Hammer, and Banana Brain took out Halan. 3-1 will now be going into the Proxy versus Purple Wave game, and that is going to be a good one. Purple Wave really dominating in the tournament, and although Cherry Pie was retracted for reasons unknown, it is great to have both Purple Wave from Dan Gant and TSU in the tournament. These 2 bots, I think, really make up for the absence of Cherry Pie. It is such a pleasure to behold them. And we see again a 2-gate. And that's very aggressive, and looks like Proxy is going for a lot of drones. And there are some Zerglings out, that's good. But Purple Wave seems to be really committing to this 2-gate. Only 13 workers and stop. Now the Nexus, and Proxy will have to make Lings quickly because there are 5 Zealots out on the map and they can do such a lot of damage. Sunken being put down. Really, the reinforcements are being cut off, but there are still 3 Zealots over here, and the Zerglings will need to fight. They are fighting and they are winning versus the Zealots, and immediately I think the Sunken is morphed, and I think that Proxy just held this 2-gate. And Purple Wave recognizes this, resumes pro-production, and really ought to be careful that Proxy will not just press the Z button, but it's only got 8 workers. So a couple of Sunken, that's overdoing it on the Sunken department, should build a lot of drones right now, because you're going to be hard put in the middle of the game. And I think that these 3 Sunkens can do quite well. In addition, with the bridges, don't lose any Zerglings. You can't afford it. Why would you fight? And that's really the hallmark of a great Zerg, that it knows when not to fight. And I think that Purple Wave is still making units. It's going for the throat. Proxy is out on its luck. It's going for a quick lair. It might try banking on some kind of a lurker switch, as it's going to take a while before there are observers out, but it's got to be done right quick. Here comes the lurker aspect, and there are a couple of Sunken, so it might be good, but all the Zerglings are dead, save 1, and that's now dead as well. So I think that Purple Wave is going to bring a lot of pressure to the game, and I don't really know if Proxy has got enough firepower to try and stop it. Doesn't look like it. And that's it's fortunate for Purple Wave, but I always try and cast from a Zerg perspective, because Zerg is the #1 race in the world. But Purple Wave, with the goon pressure, is doing great, and there will probably not be any lurkers. Lurker aspect is done, but there is no money, and the natural is under attack. The last Hydra dies, and Purple Wave has got the natural up now, so yeah, that was basically the first game. Only 1 worker left, no other... Oh, there is 1 lurker in play somewhere. It's here, but it's only 1 lurker, and it dies. So GG, first game goes to Purple Wave. Next game up, large map. So perhaps Proxy will fare a little bit better there. And let's see if Purple Wave can... well, if it's going to play as aggressive once again. Yes, it looks like it is going to go for another 2-gate. Proxy is going for Lings and the same build order again. Now finding the scouting probe, which is always nice. And then the Zealots are coming. And if you see that many Zealots, you got to know something is afoot and build Zerglings. Stat. Just build them and try and defend. And don't try go toe-to-toe with the reinforcements, because you've got to defend here. And you are taking a lot of damage. And this Sunken will probably... No, the Sunkens are there. The Lings are fighting for their lives, laying down their lives. But the reinforcements are coming in unfavorably for Purple Wave. And now there are 3 Sunkens up. And I think that this defense is a little bit better for Proxy, because the map is that much bigger. There is no gas yet for Purple Wave. So I think that with the Sunkens, and if not too many Zerglings are lost, Proxy may be in a good position, but it's got to be careful not to waste all the Zerglings. Because if you do that, you will be in for a very hard follow-up. And now the Lings are fighting, blocking off the Zealots while the Sunkens are firing, and now they are dying again. So the micro of Proxy is a little bit on and off, but in general it's doing quite okay enough. Worker count for Proxy is a little bit higher as well. Building some Zerglings, building some hatches, really needs the production to be able to defend against that 2-gate, which is still ongoing. Now it's a 4-gate operation with goons coming into play with range. So Purple Wave doing things really the aggressive way, but I think that Proxy will have a little bit more time to relax, and it's also building a couple of more workers. That's always good, and it should sneak one out and build a third somewhere, because Protoss will be pressuring soon with the construction of the natural having commenced. But these Sunkens are beautifully placed and are taking away a lot of the heat from the Zerg production, and this I cannot like. There are so many Zerglings thrown away, and there is no... That was just 12 Zerglings thrown away for absolutely nothing, and that is just wasteful. Now a drone is moving out. No, it's going to mine. No third base yet. The Protoss army is 20 versus only 5 of Zerg. And this do-that setup is good, but then again the Lings come out and they kill themselves on the hard rocks of the Goon defense, and that's just absolutely horrible to see. One more Sunken being built, and what is that going to be? I think a Spire? Certainly not a Spire. It is. Okay, so Proxy is casting the dice, and it's going to save up a little cloud. That's good, because and then let's see how good the Mutant Micro is. We saw beautiful Mutant Micro by Aerohammer, and it looks like, although a little bit hesitant, Proxy is going to save up a little bit of a cloud. Is it making any upgrades? Yes, it's making the +1 upgrades, and immediately we see the +1 air weapons for Protoss being done as well, and there are so many goons. You're going to need a lot of mutants to deal with that. Is there a Stargate? Yes there is now. So immediately countering the mutas with some SES. And you can do quite well, but the Lings and the mutas will have to fight in tandem, and they are going to do that. But there are so many goons and more goons coming as well. So I think that these mutas have really better beware. And now finally we get the third base for Proxy, and that's good, I think. Because the army size of Proxy is very small, and this is not... Oh, this is a run by. You shouldn't ever do that. This is why! You've got to be kidding me. This combat simulator must have a very small range to pick fights like these, and although the Lings are doing a lot of damage though, that's really good. So perhaps the mutas are being sacrificed to allow the Lings to close the distance and do damage to the Goon army. The third base for Purple Wave will be done sooner than that of Proxy though, and that's not good for Protoss, for Zerg at all. But Purple Wave is keeping on the aggressive side of the game and is doing quite well. The muta count is depressed, and although there are a lot of Corsairs, their micro appears to be quite bad, and now there are Scourge out as well. So the mutas had better regroup and try to get stuff done, because they are taking a lot of damage, but now are in among the workers, and that's always good. Now taking random potshots at building at the forge, that's beyond me, but you never know, and that is a pretty ballsy position to take. Fourth base. Third base up and populated for both players, and now back to the mutas. Where are they? Still in the main, but there is stiff resistance from the goons and the Corsairs, which are now blasting a little bit better. Oh, why? Why? Things like these are completely beyond me. Zerg is running out of army fast. The Lings are doing okay, and the ground army of Protoss isn't all that strong because there are some Corsairs and there aren't any mutas left, so the Corsairs basically have got to hunt overlords or find some other occupation. Fourth base is now sort of saturated. Proxy is going to need army. Although Purple Wave hasn't got the greatest army in the world either, it's taking a fourth base as well. Third base with some production and defense. Nicely done, lots of cannons though, and that's going to eat into the army production. Now Proxy can micro quite averagely, but is macroing with the best of them. And you can see here the Hydras are really picking a stiff fight with the Zealots. And I thought I saw a Dark Templar, so an Overlord will have to be brought along quite quickly. And then there are the Corsairs, but still Proxy is fighting hard and taking more bases. So both players getting into macro mode. And let's see how that's going to turn out. Purple Wave's got 80 workers, that's quite a lot, so the eco will be good. Then again, it will mine out more rapidly too. So this natural is heavily saturated. The same goes for the third. The fourth is a little bit sparsely saturated. So here are a lot of probes. And the eco for Proxy will be better because the main is still mining. And the natural is not as heavily saturated. So Proxy going the safe route now. Meanwhile trying to keep pressure on the Zerg. Now with a stray neuter. That's really quaint. And should defend that. This base should be defended, should be held. Where are the forces going to come from? Lots of Zerglings coming in, but there are Archons. So Archons, of course, are very good against Zerglings. Where are the Zerglings coming from? Or where they're going to go to? This base is under a lot of pressure, and with only 16 army supply, Proxy is too slow with this fat round of units, and is losing a lot of stuff. Only 40 workers left for Proxy, but now it's in a little bit of safer position. Although, why is that thing loading? It shouldn't be loading. Purple Wave in a good position as well. Production in all kinds of bases, so that's, or at least in this setup over here. And this base is still standing, and Proxy for some reason is still holding it. Purple Wave not really committed to killing the base, rather wants to kill the units, and the Zerglings all run from the Archon and the Zealots. The Zealots will have good upgrades, +3, so very hard to deal with it. Have we got the +3 armor? No, we haven't. So Proxy in a bit of a situation has got a very small army and is making Zerglings. The Zerglings are not the most cost-effective units versus a well-upgraded Protoss army. Is there Storm? Yes, there is Storm, so you should keep 2 Templars for just that. This base is finally going to fall. So it looks like Purple Wave is in a good position, is now maxed, banking a lot of money, and has got production all over the map. And Proxy has only got 25 army supply, has got an Ultra with all the upgrades, but that's a very small army. It's only 1/5 the size of the Protoss at this moment. And the question is, where will Protoss strike? That is just 20% of your entire army dying as a Zerg player, and Purple Wave is going to come into this base to mop it up. Main is still there, but very sparsely populated, only 16 workers remaining. More workers getting killed over here, and these Dark Templars don't know how easily they could have taken out this sunken field over here. There is no Overlord in sight, and I think that the last Overlords are going to be found by this Corsair, being chased off, no speed, and the entire might of Protoss is going to converge upon where? Nice ultra play, but ultimately won't do you a lot of good. So second game going to Purple Wave as well. First game very ballsy 2-gate, and again a large map. Let's see if we are going to see another 2-gate, and a 2-gate is such a strong opening, and these AIs are not yet at a point where they can, if they have held the 2-gate, that they can find a way to win. And that's the reason I think that Purple Wave is sticking to its game, building another 2-gate opening, and Proxy going again for a very late pool, lots of workers, quick expansion. Here comes the first Zealot. There you go. Will it be spotted? No. So danger everywhere, and going for, I think, the hatch. That's a mistake. Going for a drone, that's better. 1 drone killed, 2 drones killed. Lots of damage to the hatch, and now the Zerglings are coming in and trying to do damage. The sunken is late. Worker count for Proxy is low. Worker killed, 1 more worker killed, 6 workers, and then you've got to have sunkens. So the 2-gate at this stage will be held, because now there are 2 sunkens and some Zerglings. The Zerglings out on the map. Try not to die too much. Oh, they do that pretty accurately. Now should fall back on the sunkens while workers should be built. Stat. This is not the time to make a lair. So Proxy, macro-wise good. Decision making could be better, because if you are morphing a lair while under pressure from a 2-gate, your mineral line is undefended. Oh dear, oh dear. 6 workers, 0 income, but a lair. And the 2 gate is still going. Now with goons coming up, and with only 1 sunken, more sunkens are to be built, but that I think is, well, might just buy it a little bit more time, but 6 versus 20 workers and the natural already started for Protoss. I think that purple wave is taking it very slowly, could overrun this sunken position quite handily. And there it goes, first sunken, second sunken, and the third one. And that is as good as the game, so purple wave taking it 3-0. Yeah, must be the game. So, next game up. We've got another PvZ, it's Microwave versus Bera, and the Protoss appear to be having it. Earlier we saw Steamhammer take out Crazio, Andrew Smith lost, TSU Protos took out Killer, Eric Hammer dropped to Ludas, Haupan dropped to Banana Brain, Proxy dropped to Purple Wave, Bera and Microwave, and then we'll have the last match, Seda versus Thomas Vadas Ximp. And Microwave will have to play very hard to take down this stalwart Protoss, which is Bera. Bera did exceptionally well in this tournament, taking out just very many players, but only 1 step up from Microwave. And Microwave is more, it's a very, very sturdy Zerg. It's got great build orders, it's very tenacious and can deal with pressure very well. Is going for a large round of Zerglings, and let's see what Bera's got to try and stop that. 2 Zealots on the high ground, and that is very effective fighting. But now the first one will drop and the other one will get surrounded, and now we have a lot of Zealots, Zerglings in the main base, killing another Zealot, and another one, and another one. And now the workers are up for grabs, lots of mining time lost. Natural started for Microwave. Microwave off to a great start. All the Zerglings will be pacified eventually because, well, the probes can do a lot of damage, and there were Zergling Zealots in production as well from 2 gateways. Now 3 gates, so the Zealot aggression is sort of done. But there is the Evo chamber, another sunken, really defensive in an awkward position. Ideally you would have the sunkens stand over here. That's very defensive play, and that goes at the cost of workers. So yeah, what's that then? A spore before the first air unit has been sighted, and now a large round of Zerglings with speed. Zealots haven't got the +1, and let's see how this is going to play out. That's a lot of Zerglings though, wow. And more of them are coming, so this is very committed. Oh, and there is the arch enemy of the Zergling, it's the Reaver, and that's very unlucky because the Zealots could likely not have held this number of Zerglings. But that Reaver, the Reaver can. The Reaver can hold any number of Zerglings at the cost of a little bit of money, but oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, that's very unlucky for Microwave, and more Zerglings are coming up, but either you've got to be able to close the distance, or that Reaver is going to take down all your Zerglings all day long. Now it's 30 versus 10 workers. The Reaver keeps blasting happily, and the army of Bera is growing. No third base for Zerg yet. Worker count still depressed severely. Lots of turrets and lots of Zerglings, but right now that is not ever going to work, and you should just quit the Zergling thing, do something else. And now some drones are being built, Hydrodens being built, but I fear if it's not too late, because although Bera hasn't got the greatest army in the world either, is playing very defensive as well, and this would be a good time to build a lot of drones and then build more drones, and here come the drones. So I think that Microwave is sort of setting up for the mid game, but should not neglect the army, and the army is there, but it's all Zerglings, and the enemy consists of a lot of Zealots and Reaver, even with a shuttle. So yeah, here you see the army of Microwave dwindling, and it's trying to make up for that by building a lot of sunkens. Now that's just not worth it, I feel. You should take more bases. Worker count getting a little bit better, but still, oh, that Reaver is very unlucky with the Scarabs. It's firing off, and Microwave has got something of an army now, but I can't really see this happening. Third base for Bera starting. And Microwave now with a third base, but the Reaver is on top of that. taking it down single-handedly. Some reinforcing hydras are being killed as well. And now the third base, the natural is under attack. The third base is up. The Reaver playing like a oh, the third base is there still. But now it's the natural taking the brunt of the Reaver shots. And that Reaver has done so much for the Reaver. Oh, now it dies, but I think the damage is done. The natural is in tatters. Worker count is in the toilet. It's 50 versus only 10. And the Reaver is just producing unit after unit after unit. The third base is fallen and now completely dead. The main base overrun. Let's hop into the next game, because after that there is one more best of 5 to be played, and this is going to be a little bit of a marathon broadcast, but the games are pretty good, so why complain? Microwave going for quick expand. The Reaver going for not a 2-gate. Appears to be going for, I don't know where it's going for, boom range kind of thing. And here comes some Zerglings for Microwave. One killed already. And the Zerglings are over here, and they appear to be in one control group. If you look at the minimap, they are retreating and attacking at the same time instead of joining up. And I thought that Microwave was better than that, but let's see how it's going to play out. Zealots being killed, but still work count low for Zerg. Very low. And I don't know if that's the right time to be building. It's so very defensive, but the Zerglings are in among the workers. Hello. There is no army at all. That was a very quick Stargate, and Microwave just does it with a handful of Zerglings and no workers at all. That was really impressive, or I completely missed that. And let's hop into the next game. The score is 1-1. Microwave, very ballsy, going for the throat. A large map now. Moonglaive 2.1. And the Reaver, what are you going to do next? Because that build with the quick Stargate obviously wasn't worth it. First, Zealot, Zergling heavy play of Microwave. Gate first. Expand first. Boom. And again, very early gas, and some Zealot is making its way over, but there are Zerglings aplenty. And they catch the first Zealot, they catch the second Zealot without suffering very much in the way of losses. And Protos, if it's not very careful, will be under a lot of pressure again soon too. Now the Zerglings are in again, are going to kill some workers, not too many, but more Zerglings are coming. And you can see where this is going to be awkward for Protos, because the workers aren't mining, and if I'm not very much mistaken, it's again this silly Stargate build which precludes it from building one more Zealot. And I think this is the end. The worker count is equal, but there are Zerglings in among the Protoss worker line, and that again is the game. Wow, Microwave getting lucky there. The Reaver should have learned from that. Didn't, and Microwave is now 2 games up. Wow. So 2-1, and this is the game number 4. So Microwave leading 2 games to 1. And let's see what the Reaver is going to do, because that build order with the Stargate, perhaps it picks that for big maps, but it really didn't work. Last 2 games it got overrun by Zerglings, and now it appears to be going for the same build order. Zergling play coming in from Microwave. Probe is trying to harass as much as it can. Here come, I think, the Zerglings. Yes, there they are. And here comes the first Zealot. But the Zergling count is rather low now for Microwave. I don't know what that is. It's building more workers. No, it's just taking a bit more time. And perhaps, yes, that's better. If that's not going to be a Stargate, let it not be a Stargate. Let this not be a Stargate. So 2 gateways can produce some units, right? Yes? Oh, but it's a Stargate. So it will come down to Micro, and the Zealot dies. There is one more Zealot in production. Workers are again lost, and more Zerglings are being ferried in. The Stargate is now flashing, which may kill an Overlord perhaps, and supply block Microwave, which will be good. And Microwave isn't getting in, so there is a Zealot out for the Reaver. So it's safe to say that this game is afoot. Now, we have got, I think, one spore over here, but there are no overlords, so the overlords which are there are not safe. That's a spore as well, and that's a lot of Zerglings to have sitting around doing nothing. The Reaver, of course, is quite in agreement with that, because it can now build some kind of an army, but here come the Zerglings. The Zergling army is there, they have got speed, there is no Zealot upgrade yet, but there are 7 Zealots, and that's quite a lot. So, first skirmishes, and that is unfortunate. At the ramp there is stiff fighting going on, and I think that the Zerglings might not power through. Might be a good idea to get +1 though, if you see that many Zerglings. Microwave, meanwhile, is making some workers. So that... oh, there is a Shuttle Reaver out there, that's the namesake unit for B Reaver. And you are going to need quite a bit of units to help and fight that. But it's afraid of this one Hydra. While it could just easily drop the Reaver and kill it. Now finding a nice, suitable place. Oh, and it's going to find one here in the main. One drone, one Hydra. What's it waiting for? Don't know. Natural starter though, so that's good. And this is pretty abysmal Shuttle Reaver micro for a player called the Reaver. There it goes, gets killed, unfortunate. Shuttle got killed as well. But there is a little bit of defense for B Reaver. Third base for Microwave startup at 3 versus 2 base. And the army micro of Microwave. So we've got a player called B Reaver with bad Reaver micro, and we've got a Microwave with a very small wave, which is interestingly microed. But the worker count is somewhat there now for Microwave, so that's good. That said, though, oh, there is another Shuttle Reaver combination coming in. And both of them are getting killed, yes. Nearly holds that. But the Hydras are all stupid. And I don't know what's so important there if there are Zealots to be killed over here. There is a Templar, Storm's ready. I don't know if it's got enough energy. But the army count for Microwave is small. It's got all kinds of funky technology, but it's got no units. It got enough to kill Corsair and some Zealots. And the Hydras are doing okay-ish, but all in all, this game's pretty scrappy. The Scourge are where the Corsair is not, and the army count for Protos is just much better. And with Templar and Reaver, it's going to be able to do a lot of damage. Lots of damage. Storm sort of missing. Ooh, the Mutas are out, but there are few in number. The Scourge, I don't know what with the Scourge. There is a Corsair over here, it needs killing a stat. Now there is one over there. But I don't know, it's totally missed Storm. But there are 3 Reavers now, and I think that the era of the ground units full Zerg has come to an end. There is one muted though, but I think there was enough anti-air on the Proto side of things to help. That Ling got 45 minerals worth of Scarabs fired at it, which is not completely worth it, but since the economic disparity is now 3 bases to 2 in the favor of Protoss, I think that the Reaver is on the brink of making this game 2-2. And there is a bit of muted thing going on, but the micro of Microwave is highly suspect. The Scourge are bad. It's very much beyond me, and there aren't all that many goons over there. There are some Templar, but you could do something about that with this lot of mutants. It would not be impossible. And here we go. But instead they are going after the Reavers, which are getting stormed from behind. There is a Corsair over there. It's quite muddy, but in the end I think the natural is going to fall, and that will mean 3-1 base. And beside the worker count of Zerg is down to 10, army count down to 2, and those are, what are those? I don't know. And even the workers can't make up their minds where they're going to mine, so Microwave under pressure, taking a little bit of a confusion pill. and now falling. So that's the GG. Score is 2-2, and let's see what this is going to bring us in the next map. It's a smaller map, Icarus, and the distances are good for Zerg, and I don't know where Zerg... Oh, the scout is going to go off. Hatch before pool. And this is not going to be the StarGate map, because on a small map, the StarGate build order, because on a small map, that can be quite dangerous. Not to say very dangerous. Here comes the Cybercore, Zealot getting killed, lots of Zerglings, and now another Zealot on top of the ramp, not in the best position, but there are only 3 Zerglings. Where are the rest? Oh dear, it's going to be a 2-base. Oh, 2-base muta, that's going to be pretty ballsy. And now I do hope that's going to be the Stargate build, because then Protoss will have a Corsair, and that's always good. Let's look at the timing. So, the Spire will be done, and the Corsair has not yet been started. And there are a lot of Zerglings going to be built, and Zerg has got only 2... Zealot's going to be built, and Zerg's only got 1 pair of Zerglings, so... I don't know how much I like that. The Corsair is out, killing an Overlord. But here come the Mutas, and let's see how it's going to be played now. Mutas are in among the Goon, killing the shuttle, and I don't know why. The shuttle is not dangerous, and meanwhile you're losing... the decision-making of Microwave is really beyond my comprehension. And the Mutas are over here as well, so... I can't really bring myself to like this decision-making of Microwave. I think... well, it's been a while since we last saw an update of Microwave. Hello, there is nothing there, you could do damage. It's just a morphing building, or a warping in building, or whatever it is. And the control group, Micro, is god-awful as well. There must be something... No, I shouldn't be criticizing these bots too much, because I know how hard it is to make up... to write one of those, especially from scratch as Microwave is. It's very hard. Oh, and now finally the Mutas have found prey, and they are quite numerous, so that's good. Just taking down buildings, and the Protoss army will have to come all the way round. And these... why? Why is the great question of today, but now the workers are all for it, and the cannon is being ignored, which is sloppy, but not too bad, because now there is a 3-base economy, and Microwave looks to be... Hello! You've got everything killed, why abandon the enemy main? And why build turrets? There is a bit of a Protoss ground army, but it's not all that great, and... Or perhaps Microwave is waiting for workers to be rebuilt so he can kill more. That would be a valid stratagem. Oh yes, there we go. So kill more workers, wait till the workers are rebuilt, kill some more, and get things done that way. And then quickly run again. And then you could kill the Zealots. So Microwave taking its sweet time, but doing a lot of damage, and Protoss just can't get its game together. There is the natural mining and making a lot of probes, the main is making a lot of probes, but all in all the army size of Microwave keeps growing, and I need a small peek at how many Mutas there are. 10, which is a decent number. And there's very little left in the way of anti-air on the Zerg Protoss kind of thing. And again, the main is overrun by the Mutas. Now the fort is going to be attacked, and the Reaver is having to fight a heavy hard fight to try and stop this. I think the best bet would be to leave the natural alone, it's well protected, build some goons and try to gain control of the main. Again, you've got, with the goon production capacity you have got, it should be doable, but the Muta Cloud is not really growing. Microwave is building so many Sunkens, it's really wacky. Have we got any upgrades for the Mutas? Yes, we've got +2 armor. That's good. And again, more workers being killed, and the Muta Cloud is growing slowly. The natural is not producing enough income to stem the tide, and Zerg is fighting very cost effectively. Oh, and losing a Muta for nothing, and it's these small things, but still taking down the Reaver like this is no mean feat, so perhaps I'm criticizing Microwave a little bit too harshly, and I know I am, so sorry about that. It's just some of the choices are quite exasperating. And Cloud is now 16, 17, very impressive, and the Reaver keeps feeding workers into the main, and it's just not working. The main is not safe, it's full of mutas. Microwave taking another building, another main, another base, and I really need a break, and it's a good thing that there is only one best of 5 left for me to cast, because it's really going to be the end of me. The Cloud is now 19, and Microwave, what are you building? Just 2 mutas. It's so funny to see so many turrets built everywhere, where had this been invested in eco, Microwave would have been maxed on defilers by now, and but still it gets the job done. The natural is in tatters, the main is going to be down zone 2, the Reaver hasn't got a unit in the world. I'm going to call the GG, the Reaver down to the lower bracket, and Microwave onto the round of 8. Congratulations! So the number 16 versus the number 1, and this will be a stiff fight for Thomas Vadas Ximp to take down Seda, the Samsung AI team. And let's see how it's going to do that. It would be a huge upset to beat the number 1 as number 16 in the round of 16, but then again, you never know. Seda is going for a nice goose chase of the scouting probe. It's good to see that even the top bot of the moment isn't immune to that. And Ximp is going for a quick nexus behind 2 cannons. So for the very short future, it's not going to be too surprising what's going to happen. That is going to be siege mode. Seda has got some inkling of what's going to come. Is going for a very defensive 2 base for the time being, trying to keep tabs on the Protoss with just a handful of vultures. And Ximp is going to go for carriers. Will it have time enough to do that though? The question is, when will these siege tanks start rolling out? If they do not in time, there will be carriers all over, and that will be very hard to hold. Then again, it looks like Seda has scanned it and is producing a lot of Goliaths. But the first carriers are already on the way. So will Seda have good enough anti-air to beat that, or a good enough ground army to kill the cannons? And it looks like Seda is going to move out. Will the carriers be done in time? Interceptors are yet to be built. There aren't all that many, only 2. And I think that Seda might just hit a sweet spot timing with the siege tanks before there are too many interceptors. And right now there are so many Goliaths. You can't see the interceptor number. I will keep this open for a bit. It won't come off the ground. It will be run into the ground. And Ximp is a little bit over aggressive and now is taking direct hits to the carrier hulls as well. While Seda on 2 bases is sitting back, rolling up the siege tank to the cannon line. And although Seda isn't really progressing and not able to... Oh, here comes the second tank. Every once in a while a tank will slip through, and that will mean the end of the cannon line, because Seda is so meticulous with the airside range for the tanks to take that down. And the interceptor count is just going to be in the toilet. Here comes the next wave of carriers, but that's 8 carriers with only 14 interceptors between them. So I don't think that's going to work very well, but you never know. Now 17 interceptors, 18, but the tanks are in the natural. 3rd base is already taken for Seda, nice minefield around that. Ximp needs to have that carrier fleet producing interceptors. And where are the Raj? It's a constant stream of Goliaths. There are 22 Goliaths versus 18, 19, 18, 16 interceptors. It's just not enough, and Seda is rolling into the natural with comparative ease, taking a 4th base, and is just producing a lot of units, all Goliaths. The natural is down, only 20 interceptors from 9 carriers, and the carriers should have waited just a little bit longer, just made a few more interceptors and then tried to engage the Goliaths, but now it's 10, 12 interceptors versus... There are 3 Goliaths, there are 4 Goliaths to each interceptor right now, and it's just not working. and there is no more money for Xim because the main is down, and that is the game. Seda takes the first one. So next game up, it is Icarus, and we all know Xim's game plan. So look at Seda. Seda racks first, and then quick expansion, nice bit of reusing that in barracks and eBay. Very nice defense, lots of siege tanks. I'd say there are too many siege tanks, but now the Goliaths are there, and the scan must have gone off. Again, the carriers are coming, and again I will show you in the item unit overlay how many interceptors there are. There is one carrier, one interceptor, and already there are 9 Goliaths. So Seda has picked up on this beautifully and is now pushing even sooner. And again, there are only 12 interceptors, and it's just not worth it at this point. The Goliaths are 2 on point, 13 versus 6, and now the tanks will start ranging the cannons soon, as the Goliaths will move out of the way for a change, but that's not going to happen for a bit. But still, 13 versus 20, it's 2 to 1. It's very unfair, and Seda is taking bases now even faster, and has ferried a tank to the high ground. Gleaned that trick from Icebot, killing a lot of workers, which will mean less income for Xim. And right now it's 5 versus 30 Goliaths. Hello. Only thing for Seda is that the tanks can't really range the cannons at this point because there are too many Goliaths in the way. But this game can only end in one way. Seda is already maxed. It is... oh well, that might be difficult because as you can see... oh no, it's rebuilding Goliaths as well. Earlier it was losing Goliaths and rebuilding tanks and vultures. But now the Nashor is in tatters, and there are still only 20 interceptors. So game number 2 is going to go to Seda as well, in quite domineering fashion, and Xim will have to pull a miracle out of a very, very, very deep hand. Perhaps in a large map like Fighting Spirit it may work, but the carriers are just a little bit too slow for Seda. Seda not altering his build, and this may well be the last game of today's broadcast. It is going to be... yes, there you go. Lots of tanks again, just to be safe. And a small contain, but Xim is not going to move out. Xim is going to build carriers, and already there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Goliaths before the first carriers even there. And now you can see the disparity growing, and immediately the move out is going to be quicker and faster. And although Xim now has a third base, the tanks are in among the cannons already, and the interceptor number is dropping precipitously. And although Xim has got a good-ish position on the Goliaths, the tanks are ranging the Nexus, and although the third is sort of up, it is not going to be enough, I fear, for Xim to help with this game. Interceptor numbers now reach 20, there are more Goliaths still, and the carriers are going to reach the main base but are going to be called back, and there are just way too many Goliaths at this point. So one tank taking care of that base over here. It's got to be on some kind of a low ground because it's not steadily firing. It's pretty weird. But the inglorious army of Seda is rolling into the main of Xim, and that is the end of that 3-0. That means that Seda will move up and Microwave will move up as well. Purple Wave will be in round 2. Banana Brain, no. The Ludas, TSU Protos, Ironbot, and Steamhammer. The rest will be in the losers round 1. For this time, I will thank you all for watching. I will thank especially everyone who played in this tournament round robin and didn't make it, and to all of you who are still in this, either in the losers round or in the winners round 2. Keep on fighting, and I want to thank all of our sponsors on Patreon to help make this possible. A lot of good will be done by Michael Chatiki and his team to improve Root YI, World, and of course run this beautiful tournament. Thank you everyone for watching. For now, goodbye. We will be here again next week.